After beating the Denver Broncos at home, the Seattle Seahawks would have to take a difficult road trip all the way across the country, 10 a.m. start against an inspired New England Patriots team coming off an emotional home win. But the Seahawks, for the second week in a row, would show tough defense, mental toughness, and we would see without question a clear improvement in the Seattle offense. And at the end of the day, it was the Seahawks leaving Gillette Stadium with a victory. Welcome to Josh's Football Breakdowns, where we don't tell you what you're seeing, we let the film tell us what we're seeing. And what we saw on Sunday was a Seattle defense that showed up from the very start. We would see an impact right away on the first third down of the ballgame. Back in New England, Jacoby Brissett makes his first read and it's not there. So he resets his feet and moves on to his second read. He's covered. And then he decides to take off. He never has time to get to his third read because of the pass rush. And here we would get an outstanding look at the speed of Boye Mafe. The Seahawks defense was all over Jacoby Brissett in this game, sacking him 3 times and holding him to a completion percentage of just 55%. DeMontre Jacobs tried to slide over and help with pass protection, but ultimately it was ineffective. Now we're going to move ahead a little bit because there's a lot of twists and turns in this game and I want to be able to take you through all of them. On the goal line, the Patriots would send 2 receivers to the left, and Wallace would slide over to help. He's not expecting Polk to come in wide open behind him like this. Jacoby Brissett finds the open man, and the Patriots strike first. But the Seahawks would answer right back. After a Zach Charbonnet run, we would get a quick look at the scoreboard, but then the camera pans quickly back down to the field. What's going on here? Well, we can see Geno Smith communicating, directing plays. He's calling plays at the line of scrimmage. The Seahawks are in a no huddle here, and the Patriot defense is trying to figure out how to react. Almost immediately, we see some confusion on defense. DK Metcalf is streaking wide open to the end zone, and Geno Smith gets him the football. It's a 56-yard touchdown for Metcalf, and Seattle caught New England with their pants down. Take a look at the line of scrimmage. We see 6 players right up front, possibly set up to defend the run and unable to adjust once Seattle went into the no huddle. Now it's pretty tough for any offensive line to pick up 6 pass rushers, but here they do enough to give Geno Smith time to throw this football, and Geno helps them out too, getting the ball out quickly. The back foot hits, and the ball is gone. After a New England field goal, the Seahawks would go back to work on offense, facing a 3rd down and 4. They put JSN in motion, and Marcus Jones goes with him, telling Seattle that the Patriots are in man defense. Once again, the Patriots would send a blitz, rushing with 5, and committing a 6th defender to cover the running back, Zach Charbonnet. They do leave a safety on the field, but after getting burned for a 56-yard touchdown, he lines up pretty deep. He's essentially going to be a non-factor on 3rd and short, meaning the receivers are going to be one-on-one with these defenders. Thanks to the pre-snap motion, we already know Marcus Jones is covering JSN, so when JSN goes to the sideline, Jones would like to go with him. But he runs into the route of Tyler Lockett, and as long as Lockett doesn't intentionally run into him, this is legal. Geno makes the read, and it's a 1st down for the Seahawks. It's a great play design by the coaches and great execution by the players. Now the line still has to pick up 5 pass rushers, but once again Geno gets the ball out quickly. The back foot hits and the ball is gone. And a great job by JSN running after the catch. New England would stay in the same defense, rushing with 5, committing a defender to cover the running back, and leaving 1 safety back deep. And once again, we're going to be taking a look at a route by JSN Smith and Jigba. He would like to go to the outside, but the defender's in pretty good position here. But watch JSN fight for leverage. And JSN comes up with a terrific catch. Wow, great work there for a first down. And I thought this was an interesting angle. We see 10 Patriots all right at the line of scrimmage here. Now, that can seem scary to see this sort of swarm of defenders, but as long as you know what they're doing, you can use that to your advantage. And once again, the Seahawks put a man in motion. This time it's DK Metcalf. And Christian Gonzalez goes with him, telling the Seahawks again that the Patriots are in man coverage. Against 5 pass rushers again, the Seahawks line gives Geno Smith enough time. Back foot hits, and this time it's a little bunny hop before he throws his football. I think we'll forgive him for it. We can't argue with the results of the play. He knows that JSN is in a tougher position this time around, but he puts this ball low and to the outside where only his man can come up with it. So the Seahawks have the ball at the 16 and they're facing a third down. If the Patriots are going to get off the field, now is the time. And finally, they make an adjustment to their defense. Jahlani Tavai would drop back and the Patriots only rush with 4, running a stunt for good measure. And this time it would work, but not before Geno again spots a one-on-one matchup to the outside.
Technically, it did work. No, it didn't. It did not work, Michael.
It did not work. Seattle is killing the Patriots with these one-on-one matchups. We see the flag come out for pass interference, and by rule, the Seahawks get the ball at the 1-yard line, and from here it's academic to punch it in with Zach Charbonnet. Touchdown Seahawks, and they take the lead again, going up 14-7. Now the Patriots would tack on another field goal, so the Seahawks would have a 1-point lead, 14-13. We've got a heck of a ball game here, and they would try to score some points before the end of the half. So let's talk about the game situation. There's only 23 seconds left. The Seahawks have a timeout, but they're facing 3rd down and 6 at the 47-yard line. The Patriots continue to rush with 5, but this time they put 2 safeties back deep. Well, simple math will tell you there's a bit of a problem here. There's 3 receivers against just 2 defenders. If the Seahawks exploit this by running, say, Noah Fant to the hole, the Patriots will have to make the tackle inbounds short of field goal range. That's actually what New England's goal is here, to allow a completion inbounds to keep the clock running, force Seattle to use that timeout, but short of field goal range to try to prevent the Seahawks from getting any points before the end of the half. They do not make the tackle, and Fant gains some extra yardage, and now the Seahawks are definitely within the range of Jason Myers. And I'm not sure I understand why New England decided to rush 5 here. A lot of times teams in this situation will only rush 3. Now they get criticized for it, but if we can imagine, for example, New England having another linebacker here, we can immediately see the value of this. It's more likely that with an extra linebacker in coverage, this tackle would have been made. After Seattle uses their final timeout, there's still 16 seconds left, so they have a chance to get a few more yards for Myers. And here New England decides to take my advice, only rushing with 4 and leaving an extra defender in coverage. Now the only option available to Geno is this shallow route to DK Metcalf. DK still makes a man miss, but eventually they bring him down and the Seahawks have to get right up to the line to spike, and clearly they've practiced this, executed perfectly, and they're able to stop the clock with just 4 seconds left in the half. Pretty impressive. It's a small detail, but that last little play meant that this is a 44-yard attempt instead of a 53-yard attempt, and Myers knocks it through, giving Seattle what would turn out to be a very important 3 points. So they lead 17-13, and they get the ball to start the second half. In the third quarter, both teams would make adjustments. The Patriots would still rush with 5, but this time Seattle would leave 2 running backs in the backfield. Actually, this is Noah Fant lined up in the fullback position. Now, there's a trade-off to this, which means now there's only 3 receivers in the pattern, with JSN lined up in the slot. This means that New England can afford to put 2 safeties back deep. Thanks to the extra help in pass protection, the Seahawks now have time to send DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett deep, at least initially, and this forces the safeties to backpedal, taking them out of the play, allowing JSN to work against the linebacker. Now, this is still a pretty tight window here, but if we turn our attention to the pocket, we see Geno Smith, the back foot is hit, and he's already started his throwing motion, and he shows off his arm strength here, rifling this ball into JSN. Now, you can put all the extra pass protection you want back there, but there's still 7 Patriots lined up at the line, and Seattle doesn't know who's dropping back and who's rushing. So watch Zach Charbonnet come all the way across the formation here and make this block to give Geno time to throw this football. And Geno's very comfortable moving in the pocket and then delivers an accurate ball downfield to JSN. Very impressive. 24-yard gain on the play, but moving ahead, Seattle would be faced with a 4th and 2 at their own 23-yard line. Now, if I was willing to criticize New England earlier and say I didn't quite understand what they were doing, I have to be willing to do the same for Seattle. I'm not sure why the Seahawks wouldn't just kick a field goal here. They're at the 23. You go up 7 points if you take the field goal, but they decide to go for it, and well, let's see what happens. First of all, Keion White does a great job of just pushing his man into the backfield and disrupting the play. And then on the other side, we see Kyle Duggar sort of hurdle this pile here and make the tackle. And the bottom line is this is just great defense by the Patriots. Let's move ahead to the fourth quarter. They would score on the direct snap to Stevenson, going up 20-17, and they would get the ball back and are seemingly in control of this game. So once again, let's talk about the game situation. The Patriots have advanced deep into Seattle territory with the ball in the 21-yard line. There's just over 5 minutes left to go in the game, but they're facing a key 3rd down and 6 here. This is a critical play in the game. If Seattle can hold them to a field goal, then it's still a 1-score game and the Seahawks will have a chance at the end. Now last week, we talked about all the creative defensive play calls Mike McDonald was coming up with to confuse the young Bo Nix, and he comes up with another good one here. Seattle only rushes with 4, but also leaves just 1 safety back deep, sticking a lot of extra defenders in the middle of the field, essentially defending this line to gain. With nobody open, Jacoby Brissett holds onto the football and the pass rush gets home. Last week we talked about the marriage of a good pass rush and excellent coverage on the back end, and we see another example of it here. Mission accomplished. The Seahawks have held the Patriots to just 3 points. The kick is up and it is good. No, the kick is blocked. The kick is blocked. The Patriots come away with 0 points. Wow. What a huge play. Now Seattle can tie it with just a field goal. Let's take a look at how this happened. Now Austin Hooper has a tough job here. He has to block 2 rushers at once. And the way you do this is you stay relatively tight to the line. You can stretch a little bit to the outside, but you definitely do not take a step in that direction. Instead, you stick your left arm all the way out, and if the rusher tries to go around your arm, then it's going to take him too long to go around and the kick will already be off. That's the theory behind it. Here we can see he actually takes a full step in that direction, and that's enough to allow Julian Love to get in there and block this kick. So with 2 minutes to go, the Seahawks have an opportunity at the end of the game here. And now it's New England's turn to get a little bit crafty, only rushing with 4 initially, before McMillan would come on the delayed blitz, and he would get through. Geno is forced to scramble, and DK turns and sees his quarterback scrambling. And when you see this, one of the best things you can do as a wide receiver is to run towards him. This makes it an easier throw for Geno Smith. Go back to that first play of the game that we looked at where Jacoby Brissett was unable to run away from Boye Mafe. Here we see Geno Smith showing off the athleticism and then an accurate throw on the run down the field. Wow. Jason Myers would make the kick, and we are headed into overtime. So the Patriots have the ball. We're in overtime, and they're facing a 3rd down and 1. No problem. They just need to pick up this yard and keep the drive going. The Patriots try to accomplish this with a little bit of misdirection, putting Thornton in motion and hoping that Tyler Dodson will follow him so that Stevenson can pick up this 3rd down. Nope, Dodson is not fooled, and he meets Stevenson right in the hole. Boom, no gain on the play, and now with the Patriots forcing to punt the ball to Seattle, we have entered the sudden death phase of the game. But the Seahawks would be facing their own 3rd down situation here with 3rd and 6. As we should expect by now, the Patriots again rush with 5. And all game long, we've seen them assign a 6th defender to cover the running back. Well, this time they tell him, don't even bother covering the running back, just blitz the passer, just rush straight away at the passer. They're hoping to overwhelm Geno Smith. But Geno Smith is a veteran, and it's a trivial matter for him to identify the wide open Zach Charbonnet and get him the football. Gets tripped up but maintains his balance and comes down and converts a massive 3rd down for the Seattle Seahawks. Wow. Deep into the overtime period, the Seattle Seahawks would continue to make adjustments. Dealing with a relentless pass rush from the Patriots, this time they decide to move the pocket. Unfortunately, there's nobody open. It might look like DK is open, but his route actually calls for him to turn back to the outside. But the opposite is also true of Tyler Lockett, and he's in a much better position against the defender, and Geno Smith sees this the whole way. And Geno delivers another accurate pass on the run, and now the Seahawks are definitely in field goal range. I really can't say enough about Geno's play in this game. The Seahawks go for the sudden death win, bringing Myers on after a Charbonnet run, and the kick is good, and the Seattle Seahawks are 2-0, just like that. Wow. Personally, I see this as an impressive victory by the Seattle Seahawks. Now look, I understand that things weren't always perfect in this game, but go back to that situation with 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. It looked like the Patriots were in total control, about to extend their lead, but it was the Seattle defense and special teams that gave the offense an opportunity, and it was the Seattle Seahawks that walked out of Gillette Stadium with a win. This team is mentally tough, and all 3 phases of the game are starting to come together here. This team is going to be hard to beat, and next week they've got The Miami Dolphins are the ones who are going to have to make the difficult cross-country trip to Seattle. And of course, unfortunately, they don't have Tua Tagovailoa. I could very easily see the Seahawks being 3-0. For the second week in a row, we saw outstanding play from their defense, and special teams made the difference in this game, obviously without a doubt. I would like to see some improvement from the running game in Seattle. The running game never really got going in this game, but the Patriots played them tough with all those 5-man fronts, and the offense responded. I can't say enough about the play of Geno Smith. He completed 75% of his passes for 327 yards. He was quick and on time, getting the ball out fast to the right. He was quick and on time, getting the ball out fast to the correct wide receivers. He showed off his athleticism, arm strength, accuracy, even accuracy on the run. Overall, just a complete game from Geno Smith. Very impressive. And he really, weathered the storm against that tough Patriots front. He hung in there against a difficult pass rush all day long, withstood the pressure, and delivered the Seahawks in this game. I don't see how you can be anything other than impressed with Geno Smith. And Jackson Smith-Njigba continues to impress. If you like what you've seen here, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. And it takes a long time to make a video like this. If you could give me just 10 seconds and hit that like button on your way out, I would really appreciate it. As always, I like to thank those of you who have really gone the extra mile to help this channel. And I want to extend a huge thanks to our Patreon supporters. You guys are an essential part of this team. All right, it's going to be the Dolphins at the Seahawks. I could very easily see Seattle going 3-0, and after that, they've got a tough road trip to Detroit. But hold up. They went into Detroit and beat the Lions last year. Don't think they can't do it again. This team is continuing to improve and impress, and we'll see what week 3 brings. I don't know what's going to happen in this game against the Dolphins, but we are going to be here to break down that film, and I will see you guys then.